Welcome to the debate. Today we are tackling really one of the most pressing strategic questions facing the entire ServiceNow ecosystem, the evolving role of the professional developer and, well, the long-term career path within a platform that increasingly strongly favors low-code solutions.
Exactly. And this evolution, it fundamentally challenges what we even define as, developer expertise, and it really dictates the trajectory of a successful career in this field.
Precisely. So our central question is this. Given ServiceNow's foundational philosophy of configuration before customization and its heavy investment in low-code tools like App Engine, is the ultimate value and career longevity for a professional ServiceNow developer dependent on deep, traditional coding expertise, mastery of JavaScript and the Glide API, or is it more about the mastery of low-code governance, technical guardrails, and platform architecture?
And I'll be arguing that strategic platform success, maintenance reduction, and frankly, long-term career viability are defined by prioritizing that governance, the architectural oversight, and really leveraging configuration tools to empower the entire enterprise.
Okay. And I will argue that deep scripting skills remain the primary differentiator, the source of high value, and, well, the mandatory path to architecting truly scalable, secure enterprise solutions that can handle the most complex business requirements.
So let me start by establishing my perspective, focusing really on the long-term health of any ServiceNow instance. The career path that ensures relevance and longevity, I believe, is the one that minimizes technical debt. And this is rooted fundamentally in the philosophy of prioritizing configuration over customization. Look, excessive, unmanaged customization, it introduces significant upgrade risks and complicates maintenance to an often unmanageable degree. The high-value developer, they must be the master of platform tools first, flow designer for process automation, decision tables for handling complex business logic, UI policies for form control before they ever resort to writing custom scripts. The explicit goal of App Engine is to operationalize development at scale by removing development bottlenecks. And that foundation is, well, it's low-code first.
I see why you think that. But let me offer a different perspective, one grounded in the actual demands of large enterprise solutions. While platform health is absolutely critical, the true complexity of enterprise application development and integration, particularly in high-stakes environments like, say, financial services or global manufacturing, it still demands mastery of traditional coding tools. Just look at the requirements for the industry standard ServiceNow's own Certified Application Developer, the CAD syllabus. It heavily features deep scripting and complex security implementation. This isn't just theoretical, it's mandated knowledge. That deep scripting ability is what allows you to handle performance optimization, advanced integrations, and the most crucial security implementations. It is fundamentally mandatory for certified expertise and, crucially, for the path to the highest paid technical roles.
Well, I'd argue that syllabus proves code is the primary tool of the architect, perhaps, but the strategic weight is definitely shifting towards defining the technical guardrails. The long-term work in this field involves institutionalizing app rationalization and establishing a center of excellence, a COE, to oversee development policies and architecture reviews. This governance focus is where the strategic developer maximizes organizational value, preventing that lack of centralized governance, which is, a well-documented roadblock to platform realization. We need developers who can define the single operating model for development across diverse lines of business, effectively teaching the organization how to use the low-code tools safely, rather than just being the sole person who can write all the code.
Okay, let's turn to complexity then, specifically addressing how low-code tools might fall short when handling the most advanced enterprise requirements versus disciplined architectural design patterns. I see why you think configuration is enough, but how exactly does something like Flow Designer handle the complexity that requires advanced architectural patterns? I'm thinking specifically of solutions where diverse business units, like HR for recruiting, sales for commission calculation, finance for budgeting, all need to interact with a shared core object or workflow, but require entirely specialized, encapsulated logic.
That's a very pointed challenge. But isn't that complex logic really meant to be deployed within scoped applications? I mean, that provides a secure, self-contained container for business logic, which is the architectural foundation of modern ServiceNow development, right? The developer who masters application architecture ensures that even complex logic adheres to defined boundaries, isolating code complexity and preventing cross-application interference. By leveraging tools like Integration Hub and the App Engine Management Center, we ensure complex integrations and application lifecycles adhere to this architectural discipline. It's more of a framework-level solution that addresses the scattered logic problem you described, ensuring governance guardrails are in place, even if custom code is used within that scope.
But architecture without execution skills is just a blueprint, isn't it? That scoped app framework is only as good as the code you actually put inside it. Let's stick with the example of disparate business logic for a moment. The factory design pattern, or, similar advanced object-oriented techniques, explicitly solves the problem of managing those disparate business rules efficiently. Imagine you have a request for change workflow, and every single country has different approval stages. The factory pattern allows you to define a single change request handler base class, but based on the input, say the country code, it dynamically loads a specialized object like the US handler or the EU handler. This provides enormous reusability, scalability, standardization without modifying the central handler every time a new country or business unit is added. That level of efficiency and, frankly, true technical elegance is achieved through disciplined, deep scripting, not merely dragging and dropping flow designer nodes.
Okay, I agree that rigor is required and that design pattern is powerful when it's needed. No argument there. But the market demand, I think, is shifting. It's moving from needing, say, 100 people who can write that specific factory pattern code to needing maybe 10 people who can design the application framework, where the remaining 90 people can safely use low-code tools. And furthermore, the platform itself is rapidly abstracting away some of that complexity. Even when deep scripting is necessary, you've got features like Now Assist, providing text-to-code assistance, accelerating that low-level writing. The strategic value is moving away from the person who writes the most complex scripts to the person who designs the scaffolding and the security for others to use those complex tools responsibly. The developer's long-term path, I believe, is defined by their ability to scale the development environment itself, not just their latest coding technique.
Well, I'm still not convinced by that line of reasoning because when we look at actual career progression, the highest salaries and the path to senior and architect roles are clearly linked to technical proficiency that extends beyond just configuration and low-code enablement. If we look at the compensation data, the average salary for a certified application developer, $142,298 per year, it's significantly higher than a certified system administrator. The CAD exam mandates expertise in writing and debugging scripts, security implementation using ACLs and roles, and working with external data via REST and SOAP. These are the high-risk, high-impact skills that organizations are clearly willing to pay a premium for precisely because they directly impact performance and security.
See, I come at it from a different way regarding financial reward. While deep coding certainly offers high pay for niche, specialized execution roles, the overwhelming low-code trend is creating massive foundational demand for developers who can empower the citizen developer ecosystem and operationalize development at scale. The senior-level developer's highest value isn't writing one specific script, but defining the continuous integration, continuous delivery, the CI/CD pipelines, and the technical guardrails for development across the entire enterprise. That is fundamentally a governance and architecture skill set. It's about protecting the platform investment. And that salary gap between a strong CSA and a CAD, it's actually shrinking for many mid-level roles, meaning configuration mastery is becoming, table stakes. The real leap comes when the developer shifts from executing code to governing code.
But let's clarify what those senior and architect roles, the ones commanding that top, $130,000 to $180,000 range, actually do. They require skills that are fundamentally technical. Defining and enforcing data access controls at the record and field levels using ACLs, access control lists, that requires a deep understanding of server-side glide scripting to evaluate conditions and ensure security at runtime. Managing external data exchange through REST and SOAP often requires custom headers, token management, complex error handling.
Things that low-code tools simplify, yes, but often can't fully customize for legacy or highly secure systems. These are the prerequisites for the high-value, long-term technical path, because they mitigate massive security and integration risk for the business.
Okay, I agree that secure coding practices, managing deployment automation via CI/CD, enforcing data access controls, these are all crucial elements of the professional developer role. But I see them as components of platform governance and architecture, separate from simply writing client-side JavaScript for a form. The professional developer of the future is the one defining the security and deployment pipelines, ensuring every single scoped application adheres to the platform security model. They enforce the security best practices, ensuring all server-side code checks user permissions at runtime, regardless of whether the initial automation was built in Flow Designer or it was a business rule script. The value is in the enforcement framework, the governance.
We also have to consider the long-term work in this field, especially regarding the accumulation of maintenance debt. Development standards stress, and we all know this, that unmanaged customization introduces significant long-term risk. I think many of us have seen that nightmare instance where a single poorly written script prevents the entire HR module from upgrading for like 3 years. Modern practice requires we avoid modifying baseline objects and prefer asynchronous interactions to minimize performance degradation. A developer who focuses heavily on configuration and rigorous testing using the Automated Test Framework, ATF, to validate business processes is ensuring scalability and preventing those performance issues caused by poorly performing scripts, inefficient queries, and excessive client-server communication. That architecture-first focus is essential for career longevity and platform success.
That's a very compelling argument, rooted in practical experience. I'll grant you that. But have you considered the limitations of relying purely on configuration when advanced user interfaces are necessary? ServiceNow's Next Experience UI is definitely raising expectations for design quality and responsiveness. Using the UI Builder for creating advanced interfaces, well, it still requires developers to ensure responsiveness across different device types and manage the inherent complexity of the Now Experience UI framework. While this is moving toward low-code components, customizing those components and ensuring optimal performance across different devices often requires deep front-end expertise that configuration alone simply cannot provide. And furthermore, even performance optimization often requires the developer to actively implement indexing strategies for commonly filtered columns. That's a database management skill that certainly goes beyond basic low-code workflow design. Scripting is still a powerful, necessary tool when it's used with discipline. And the standards acknowledge this by requiring business logic to be centralized and modular.
And that is exactly where the blend comes in, you're right. But it's also where the architectural developer truly shines. The developer who understands when to implement those indexing strategies or when modular scripting is required for UI responsiveness is demonstrating architectural mastery. It's the ability to choose the right tool configuration or code based on the principle of platform health and performance. The ultimate differentiator in a mature platform environment isn't merely the ability to write the most complex script. It's the knowledge of the platform's limits and the best pathway for expansion. The path to success, I maintain, starts with configuration mastery and culminates in architectural governance.
So we've explored the tension between the philosophical standard of configuration first and the practical demands of enterprise complexity. My position remains that the most resilient and, frankly, highly compensated ServiceNow developer, the one who is truly essential for complex enterprise solutions, will be the one who grounds their expertise in deep technical coding skills, someone capable of architecting scalable solutions using advanced design patterns, and mastering the scripting required for security, high-performance integration, and achieving that certified application developer distinction. The career ceiling, I believe, is reached by those who can build what the low-code tools simply cannot.
And our discussion, I think, highlights that success really hinges on where the developer places their focus. Long-term platform success is built on governance, strict adherence to configuration standards, and actively minimizing technical debt by leveraging the low-code potential of App Engine. The future demands developers who are architects of the development environment itself,
capable of building governance frameworks and empowering the wider organization to utilize low-code tools effectively, ensuring platform integrity even when deep scripting is occasionally required as a specialized contained skill.
Both perspectives definitely underscore that the ServiceNow developer role is certainly multifaceted. The successful professional requires a blend of deep technical capability and strategic architectural vision to really succeed in this growing and, let's face it, rapidly evolving domain.
Absolutely, and clearly, there is much more to explore within this material as the platform continues its rapid evolution, especially towards AI-assisted development and further low-code enablement.